करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु। तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओमित्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ओमिति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम् page 336 स एव अधस्तात् सोपरिष्टात् स पश्चात् स पुरस्तात् स दक्षिणतः स उत्तरतः स एवेदं सर्वमिति। अथातो अहंकारादेश एव अहमेवाधस्तात् अहमुपरिष्टात् अहं पश्चात् अहं पुरस्तात् अहं दक्षिणतः अहमुत्तरतः अहमेवेदं सर्वमिति। कस्मात् पुनः क्वचित् न प्रतिष्ठितः इति उच्यते। स्वीमहिम्नि प्रतिष्ठितः यदि न महिम्नेति। On what basis or for what reason would you say that Bhuman or Brahman is not pratishtha, not established in anything? Because there is nothing other than Bhuma in which it could possibly be established. Usually there is a duality between the established and the establishment on what is established. Ashraya and Ashrita, Pratishtha and Pratisthita. Usually they are two different. Only when that is a different thing that it can become my Pratishtha. Possibly, and I could be Pratisthita. But there is nothing other than Bhuma upon which it can be established. Yasmat Saiva Bhuma Adhastat. With Bhuma alone is below. So Uparistat, he alone is above. So Paschat, he alone is behind. So Purastat, he alone is in the front. So Dakshinatah, he alone is the right. So Uttarataha, he alone is in the left. Saiva idam sarvam, he alone is all this. Iti. Tad vyatirekena na anyad vidyate. Nothing exists apart from Bhuman. Yasmin pratisthita syat. Had there been something different from Bhuma, then it could possibly be established in that, but there is nothing other than Bhuma. Sati bhumnaha anyasmin bhumahi pratisthita syat. Same thing. Had there been something other than Bhuma, then Bhuma could have been established in that. Natu tadasti, but such a thing is not there. Saeva tu sarvam, Bhuma alone is indeed everything. Ataha tasmad, Ataha seems to be an extra word here, so tasmad asau na kvachit pratisthitaha. Therefore, Bhuma is not established on anything. Uktamevartham vyatirekadvara vivranoti. That there is nothing other than Bhuma upon which it can be pratishtita. So then, ahankaratmatvopadeshasya abhiprayamaha. So the Tikakara said in line 11, Sarvato dharadishu yad vardate tat saram sayaveti anvayaha. So whatever exists anywhere on the earth, etc., all of that is nothing but Bhuman alone, meaning Bhuma alone manifests as whatever that is anywhere, below and above and behind and in front, etc. Or as Anandagiri said, Saptamyantat Prasamantatva Asti iti pratyaya. So what is that pratyaya? Astat. Astat iti pratyaya, right? Astan. Astat is you saying the tat in that. Astan. Astan. So no, it's astat iti pratyaya. That's what it should be there. Tatasya adhodeshaha tatratyova padarthaha. So that sutra is also there, which says in Saptamyanta, Prasamanta and then Panchamyanta also. Then in this start pratyaya is there, then it can be either in the 7th case, the 1st case, or also in the 5th case. The 5th case is not applicable here. So Tikakara says Saptamyanta Prasamantadva Astaditi pratyaya. So Purastad, that tat shows that the word can be interpreted as in the 7th case or in the 1st case, nominative case. Then if it is 7th case, then tatascha adhodeshaha tatratyova padarthaha. So adhastat, the 1st case then, that very direction below above itself is Bhuman. 7th case we take then, what is in below, what is in above, that also is Bhuman. Tatratyova padarthaha. Saropi Sayavaidi, that all of this is indeed Bhuman alone. Tat anuvadena bhumatva vidhanat. So Sayava idam sarvam. Idam sarvam. So whatever it is below and what is situated below, all of that is Bhuma, that is all Bhuman. Badhayam samadhikaranyat. So Sayava idam sarvam. That sarvam, which is multiplicity, is discovered to be mithya, is an appearance, and therefore by negating that, bhuma vyatirekena abhavaha dvitiyasya siddhyate. Therefore dvitiyasya abhavaha, there is nothing other than Bhuman, no second thing other than Bhuman, because What is Bhuman. Saeva idam sarvam. What is Bhuman. Then again coming back to page 337, line 11. Evam jagatah bhumnah anyat abhavepi jivah bhumnah anyasyat. So everything is described as bhuman. Therefore, what is jagat, below, above, etc. is all bhuman. But still, jagatah bhumnah anyat jivah bhumnah anyasyat. But still somebody may think that this jiva is not accounted for. For advitiyatvam, for non-duality, you must account for everything, sentient and insentient, or the conscious and unconscious. The whole unconscious soul is accounted for in saying that is below and above everything, but what about the conscious being, the jiva? So someone may still feel that the jiva, the conscious being, is not accounted for here. Yatra iti bhumnah adhikaranattvena nirdeshat. Also, bhuma, where one does not see the other, one does not hear the other, one does not know the other. So bhuma is where. So bhuma is a location. Adhikarana nirdeshat. Drashtuhu jivasya adhikartavyattvena adayatvena nirdeshat. One does not see. Where one does not see. So one is located where. So where shows a location, seventh case, that is adhikaranam. And one does not see, the one is located in the adhikaranam, so adhikartavya or adheya. Sayavaiti bhumnaha parokshatvena nirdishtasya. And bhuma also is here described as saha. So that parokshatvena is indicated as someone different from the self. So jiva is aparoksha and bhuma is paroksha. So aparoksha jiva bheda pratitescha. And so jiva who is aparoksha is different from bhuma that is paroksha. So number one, that in saying below and above etc., that accounts for the jagat but does not seem to account for jiva, number one. Number two, when it was said earlier, yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shrunoti, sa bhuma. Bhuma is where one does not see, hear anything, does not hear anything. So bhuma is a location where one is located. So that seems to give an idea that bhuma is adhikaranam and jiva is adhikartavya. So adhara and adhe. So paroksha jivat bheda pratitescha shankate yatra iti. So Bhashyakara said, yatra nanyat pashyati iti adhikarana adhikartavya nirdeshat, adhikartavyata nirdeshat. So yatra, where. So therefore it is adhara adher adhikarana adhikartavya. This is how it is presented. Sevadastadati cha paroksha nirdeshat. And bhuma alone is everything, so bhuma is indicated as saha, paroksha, different from me. Drashtuhu jivat anyo bhuma saditi ashanka kasyajit mabhut. And so somebody may think that bhuma is different from jiva, from the self, which is the drashta, the seer. Athato anantaram ahankara adesha. Therefore, this other adesha is given, other upadesha is given with reference to ahankara or as ahankara. Ahankarena adishyati iti ahankara adesha. Now bhuma is adishyati, taught or instructed as through ahankara or as ahankara. So look at the other tika on line 14. Nanu ahankarasya adesha ahankaradesha iti vigrahe. Athato ahankaradesha eva. So now ahankaradesha means ahankarasya adesha. Ahankara is indicated. No, that also can be. So that this teaching about ahankara. Iti vigrahe bhumnah anyasya ahankara shabdidasya aniruddhasya adesha iti arthasya. So somebody is interpreting, perhaps the Vishishta Advaitin is interpreting ahankara adesha as ahankarasya adesha. This adesha or instruction about ahankara or about aham. What is aham? Aham is jivatma. Ahankara shabditasya aniruddhasya. So then the Vishishta Advaitins talk about the Chaturvyuha. The Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. Where Aniruddha is ahankara. So ahankara shabdasya aniruddhasya adesha arthasyat. That this is what aniruddha, about jiva, this is said. Tasya jivakhyasya niruddho yas sohankara iti ritaheti agameshu. So jivakhyasya aniruddha, yeah, sahankara. So one who is jiva is aniruddha, that alone is ahankara. Iti agameshu ahankarattvena uktatvat. So jiva alone is called ahankara. Aniruddha is jiva and jiva is ahankara. That's what is said. Tatascha sayavedam sarvam yatra nanyat pashyadu upakramasya saswaran bhavati anyarajanaste kshayalokavitu uttaravakyasa virodhasyat. Tatascha sayavedam sarvam, which is what the line number 1 said on page 336. Sayavedam sarvam. Yatra nanyat pashyati, again, where one does not see anything else, iti upakramasya saswaran bhavati, he becomes a sovereign. That will come in the next passage. Anyarajanaste kshayalokaha bhavanti iti uttaravakyasya. If you see page 338, then the fourth line of the passage. Athe anyathato viduhu anyarajanaste kshayalokaha bhavanti. Athe anyatha ataha viduhu. Those who know it differently, meaning those who take bhuman as different from one's own self. Anyarajanaste bhavanti. So they come under a different ruler, meaning they are ruled by somebody. Kshayalokaha bhavanti. They are endowed with lokas, the worlds that are perishable. So, coming back here, iti uttaravakyasya cha virodhasyat bhedapatti iti ashankyaha. If ahankara is taken as different from bhuma, as they would say jiva is different from bhuma, or as Dvaitins also would say that jiva is different from bhuma, then what will happen? You will become this anyarajanaste, then they are controlled by other kings and they attain worlds that are all perishable. And that cannot be if there is identity between bhuma and ahankara. Therefore, ahankarasya adesha is not the right interpretation. So, Bhashyakara ahankarana adeshyate iti ahankara adesha. So, Tikakara says ahankara rupena. That's called Ittambhuta Tritiya. The meaning that bhuman is now taught as ahankara. Tatha nirdeshasya prayojanamaha. How come ahankara, so how come bhuma is now taught as ahankara? Drashtuhu, it is a Bhashyakara, drashtuhu ananyatva darshanartham. In order to show that a drashta, the jiva, is not different from bhuma. Drashtuhu bhumna ananyatva darshanartham. That Drashta or the Jiva is non-separate from Bhuman. Bhuma eva nirdishyate. Ahankar. Aham eva adhastha ityadena, that I am below, I am above, that I means Bhuma. Meaning earlier to say it, sa eva adhastha. That's aham eva adhastha, therefore Bhuma alone is now indicated or taught as aham, as I. So that one may not come away with the conclusion that I, the Jiva, is different from Bhuma. That Bhuma is everywhere, no doubt, but I still remain separate from us. Says no, as Ahankara itself, Bhuma is taught as Ahankara. Meaning there is no duality between Bhuma and Ahankara. Meaning Bhuma alone manifests as Ahankara. As Ahankara also, he is everywhere. So going back to the Tika, on the line 18, Saivadastat ityadina sashabda nirdishtoyo bhuma tasya Saivadastat iti samadikaranyena adastat ityadi shabdarthatvat tahi shabdahi bhumanam asadya adastat yuktah यस सोहमेवेति प्रत्यगात्म अभेद है बोध्यते दर्शनत्वं भूम्नः इत्यर्थः. So this Tikakara takes time to explain what Bhashyakara says. Saiva adhasthat ityadena sashabda nirdishtoyo bhuma. Sashabdena nirdishta. Saiva adhasthat, he alone is below. So by the word he, the one that is indicated is bhuma. It's a pronoun. But since bhuma is under discussion, prakruta, therefore that saha refers to bhuma. All of this was concluded in the Brahma Sutra also. Tasya sevadastat iti samadhikaranyena. So saha is bhuma. And that bhuma alone is adhastat, bhuma alone is below. So saha and adhastat, both of them are placed in the same case. So prathamanta. Samadhikaranyena adhastat ityadi shabdarthatvat. So bhuma alone is adhastat, means bhuma, uparishtat means bhuma, because samadhikaranya. So sa means adhastat, bhuma is adhastat, bhuma is uparishtat, bhuma is paschat, bhuma is purvastat, dakshinatah, uttaratah, purastat, dakshinatah, uttaratah. And so tai shabdahi bhumanam asadya adhastad-yuktah. Yeah, then again it says aham eva adhastat. So first of all, samadhikaranyam. That saha, bhuma and adhastat are equated by samadhikaranyam. Same adhastat is now brought down. Aham eva adhastat, aham eva purishtat. But adhastat is bhuma. By the previous so. See, equation is simple. Saha is adhastat. A is equal to B. And aham eva adhastat. So aham adhastat. So then again C is equal to B. Therefore saha is equal to aham. Adhastat is bhuma. So bhuma adhastat is saha. Adhastat is aham. So saha is aham. So aham. So tai shabdahi bhumanam asadya. So by those words adhastat, purastat, etc. or uparishtat, bhuma alone is brought here in the second sentence. Adhastayukto yo yahaso hamevayiti. So one that is said by adhastat, bhuma, saha ahameva, that alone I am. Iti pratyagatma abhedah bodhyate. So this is how that bhuma is none other than pratyagatma, the very self. Or aham is not separate from bhuma. Iti drashtuhu ananyatvam bhumna ityartha. In that sense, the drashta is non-separate from Bhuma. Evam sati ahameva iti evakara sangacchate. Ahameva adhastat. Then that evakara ahameva uparishtat. Even though evakara is not repeated, but we should understand ahameva, I am alone. And so, not that Bhuma is something different. I am alone. What is adhastat? Uparishtat. Anyatha bhumnopi tatha vidatvena adhastat ayameveti evakara anupattehe. If Bhuma and Aham were different, that Bhuma also is below and above and everywhere, and I am also below and above and everywhere. If Bhuma and I were different entities, then the two entities were everywhere. So Bhuma is Saha, that is adhastat, uparishtat, purastat, paschat, etc. And Aham also is adhastat, uparishtat. So if these two entities are different, then there are two entities that are all pervasive. So in that case we cannot say ahameva adhastat, I alone am adhastat. Because that evakara says that I alone am and nobody else is. Evakara means both. I alone am below and there is nothing other than me that is below. But Bhuma also is everywhere. And therefore you cannot say ahameva adhastat if Aham was different from Bhuma. If Aham and Bhuma are one, then you can say I am alone, I alone am. Because I and Bhuma are one. Had they been different, that evakara would not be right. Tatha sayeva idam sarvamiti. Then also it was said sayeva idam sarvamiti etat api anupannam bhinnayoho dvayoho sarvatmatva ayogat. So by saying that Bhuma is below, Bhuma is above, etc., that Bhuma is all pervasive. Sayeva sarvam, Bhuma alone is everything, meaning Bhuma is the self of all. So now same problem. Ahameva idam sarvam and Bhuma eva idam sarvam. Sayeva. So again there are two sarvatma, two self of all. That also cannot be. Bhinnayoho dvayoho sarvatmatva ayogat. So this very clearly establishes the oneness or identity in Bhuma and Aham. You cannot interpret any other way, although they do. So Bhuma and Aham, here this very clearly says they are one. And why is it said? Just so as not to leave any doubt in anybody. That I am willing to accept that Bhuma is everywhere. What is this Bhuma or Ishvara? But for me to accept that what is this I is a very difficult thing. You said yesterday, because I have been entertaining all these complexes for so long, they are so deeply rooted, that I am not willing to give that benefit to myself. I am ready to give benefit to Bhuma or Brahman or Ishvara, that he is everywhere and he is everything. But I am not ready to give that benefit to myself. See how tough I am with myself. Very generous with Ishvara, he is everywhere. You sing his glories. When it comes to me, no way. So Upanishad wants us to really get released from this complex. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. The Hridaya Granthi. That identification with the Prakriti or the Anatma has brought about the very strong complex of my being a limited entity. That I am a limited, helpless, hapless creature. This idea is so difficult to give up. And therefore Upanishad makes it a point to say that what is Bhuma is you. What is Bhuma is I. Says Tikakara, Nacha Sarvagatatvam yatra uchyate na sarvatmatvam divachyam. Also, the thing is, what does this say? So, adhastat, uparishtat, That means he is everywhere, he is all pervasive. So somebody says that this passage only says that Bhuma is all pervasive, but not the self of all. So interpretation of Vedanta is that Bhuma is all pervasive in all directions, and Saiva idam sarvam, when it said, then that shows that he is the self of all. It says no, it doesn't mean self of all, that also means he is all pervasive only. So this passage when it says that Bhuma is all pervasive, but not necessarily the self of all. So Sarvagatatvam is said, but Sarvatmatvam is not said. So that you cannot say. The Tikakara says, Tatha sati aham sarvatra iti syat na sarvamiti. Then ahameva idam sarvam would not be said. Ahameva sarvatra. Bhuma eva sarvatra. Sarvat means everywhere. So if Bhuma was all pervasive only and not the self of all, see, I am everything is just the identity of I and everything. That can be proved. I am the self of all of them. To pervade something is different and to be that thing is different. So space may pervade the part, but space may not be part. And so, tatha sati aham sarvatra iti syat na sarvamiti. Then statement would have been aham sarvatra, I am everywhere, not I am everything. I see these are arguments coming from somebody else, which he is replying. So, nacha sevadastat iti upakrame sarvagatatva pratitehe upasamharevi tadev uchyati vachyam. So the argument is, look, sevadastat, the upakrama is, introduction is, where Bhuma is presented as all pervasive. So upasamhara also should be like that. The conclusion also should be, so you cannot, the upakrama and upasamhara must have consistency. Upakrama, introduction is, beginning is, Bhuma is everything. The conclusion is, Saiva idam sarvam, in that vakya. So upakrama and upasamhara should be consistent. It cannot be upakrama says that Bhuma is all pervasive. Upasamhara is self of all. Two different things cannot be stated. That's the argument. So, upasamharevi tadev uchyati. Therefore, Saiva Saram should mean he is all pervasive because upakrama and upasamhara must be consistent. Iti na vachyam upakramasthasya adhastad ityadehe prasamantatvena Saiva ahamiti prasamanta samadhikaranya sarvatmatva paratvat. So, adhastad, as we say, it can be interpreted both in the seventh case as well as the first case. So, Saiva adhastad, he alone is below, then there is identity. Then he is the self of adhastad, uparishtad, everything. So, prasamantatvena, Saiva, ahameva, he alone is below above, I alone am below above, that is identity. Iti prasamanta samadhikaranyena sarvatma paratvat. Therefore, when you take adhastha, that says prasamanta, then there is samadhikaranyam. So, sa alone is adhastha, I alone is adhastha, and therefore it shows. That means this also, look, saiva adhastha, he alone is below, above, can be understood in two ways. If seventh case is taken, then it is all pervasive. If first case is taken, then he is the self of all. That's what the Tikakara explains. Ahameva iti prasamanta samadhikaranyena sarvatmatva paratvat. So if prasamanta is there, adhastha, that I am below. I am what is below. I am below means I am located below, that's one thing. Or I am below means I am what is below. I am above. Means what? Seventh case, I am located above. First case, I am what is above. So when I am what is below, I am what is above, then what? Then I am the self of all, I am everything below above. I am that very thing. I am the self of that. Again, aham eva udastat, purastat, uparishtat. So aham also is the self of all. Saptamyantatva pakshepi. Okay. If udastat is taken as saptami, as adhikaranam, adho deshe vidyamanasya saeva ityarthasya swikaryatvat. Adho deshe vidyamanasya vidyamana saeva iti. So what is seventh case also, what obtains in the direction below also is he. Iti saeva ityarthasya swikaryatvat anyatha saeva ahameva iti evakara anupattehe. So take first case or seventh case, it would amount to the same identity, and therefore the Bhuma is the self of all, Aham also is self of all. Bhuma pervades all, I also pervade all. If Bhuma and Aham are different, then the Evakara, that I am alone, that Evakara will not be appropriate. Anyasyapi tatra sattvat. Uvayohopi sarvagatatvat. There cannot be two all-pervasive entities. There cannot be two entities. That is the self of all. Pervasive can be only one. Self of all can be one only. And then only the evakara, saeva and ahameva would be quite appropriate. Again, nacha aham sarvam bhavati eva iti ayoga vyavachedaka evakara na anya yoga vyavachedi vachyam. Then aham sarvam bhavati eva iti. So then suppose you say aham eva idam sarvam. Then aham sarvam bhavati eva, that aham eva can be taken. So aham idam eva. So aham sarvam bhavati eva. Not aham eva sarvam. But aham sarvam bhavati eva. Eva kara can be with bhavati. Iti ayoga vyavachedaka evakaraha na anya yoga vyavachedaka iti vachyam. Aham bhavati eva. I indeed am everything. So I indeed am everything. Meaning that I definitely am everything. But that does not mean nothing else is everything. So ayoga means what? I am always, ayoga vyavachedaka means that I am indeed everything. Anya yoga vyavachedaka is that something can be other than that, something else also can be everything. So ayoga and anya yoga. One interpretation can be evakara, that I am everything and I alone am everything. You see, I am indeed everything and I alone am everything. So I am everything means that I and everything are yoga, are always connected, are always associated. And I alone am everything means other than I there is no everything. That excludes everything other than I. See, I am everything, that everything is connected to I, that's called. So therefore, ayoga vyavacheda. It's never that I am not everything. I am indeed everything means it is never that I am not everything. And I am everything. I am alone, I am everything alone, or I am alone everything. So nobody else is other than I, that is everything. So that excludes others also. So this one always includes me and excludes everything. So one evakara serves two purposes. It includes me all the time, that everything and I are always there, and excludes everything, nobody other than I is everything. That's how, but the Purupakshi says that the evakara serves one purpose. I indeed am everything. But not necessarily that there is nothing else other, nothing else is everything. Something else can be everything. So, ayoga vyavachedaka evakara na anya yoga vivachadagi vachyam. Suppose you say that. So whether evakara is connected with bhavati or evakara is connected with aham. Aham eva idam saram. Evakara can go both ways. And aham eva saram bhavati eva. See, for example, tameva viditva atimrutyumeti. Tameva viditva, knowing that one transcends death. Tameva viditva, knowing that alone one transcends death. Tam viditva eva, knowing alone one transcends death. Tam viditva mrityum atyeti eva. Knowing him, so evakara can go anywhere. Knowing him alone, one transcends death. Him alone. Knowing alone, one transcends death. And knowing, one definitely transcends death. So you can connect evakara. Because you connect evakara here with aham eva or aham bhavati eva, says not aham eva. So then, vyavahita anvaya apatte iti na vachyam, that cannot be because vyavahita anvaya apatte saidam saramidi uktas uktya eva tat siddhe tadartham evakara anapekshanacha. Vyavahita anvaya apatte, then you are not anvaya of this, does not go with what is immediately preceding, but what is remote, whatever that is. So vyavahita, and then so that ahameva idam sarvam bhavati, then is only connected not with aham but only adhastad, purastad, etc. and what is separated and not with aham eva. Saidam saramidi ukteva tassiddhe. So why do you need that evakara? Saidam saram, he is everything. Then you don't need evakara to say that he is everything. Saiva is idam, so that evakara means is also excludes others. Tadartham evakara anapekshanacha. To say that he alone is everything, you don't need evakara, he is everything. So everything in here are always connected. You don't have to do even evakara. Evakara means also to exclude other than him. Bhuma lakshana virodena tad bhinna aniruddha nirupanasya prakrita anapekshitatvacha. So somehow the Purvapakshi wants to separate Bhuma and Aham. Aniruddha is Jiva. So that is why this different arguments. So he says, why do you want to do that? Bhuma lakshana virodena tad bhinna aniruddha nirupanasya prakrita anapekshitatvacha. That aham has the same lakshana. So Bhuma's lakshana is what? Bhuma's inherent characteristic is below and above and behind and in front, etc. Aham also is described as below and above and behind and in front. So lakshana or characteristics of Bhuma and Aham are one. And still somehow you want to interpret them as different. In so many words, the description of Bhuma and description of Aham are the same. Same words are used, adhastad, uparistad, etc. Meaning whatever lakshana or the characteristic of Bhuma has are the same characteristics Aham has. And so, Bhuma lakshana virodena tad bhinna aniruddha nirupanasya. So somehow Aniruddha or Aham or Jiva is interpreted as different from Bhuma, prakrita anapekshitatvacha. That is not in keeping with what in fact is under discussion. Why should they be separate? So he says, there is a reason. Nachatasya upasanartham tad nirupaniti vachyam. So they come back. That indeed Jiva Atma or Aham is different from Bhuma. And what is meant here is that may you meditate upon the self as Bhuma. So this is indeed an instruction about meditation. This question always comes. Even in Tattvamasi. This is very clear statement. So Tattvamasi, that thou art. There also the interpretation is that may you meditate upon that as yourself. So Upasana or meditation also, Samadhikaranyam can be there. So they always insist upon interpreting Mahavakya as implying Upasana or meditation. So this also says that may I, that is you, meditate upon Bhuma as a self. So this passage is meant to instruct the meditation and not instruct the identity. So says, iti na vachyam, na tasya upasanartham tan nirupana vidivachyam. Says that aham is said adhastad uparishtat is not to show the identity, is to instruct about the meditation. Tasyapi aprastutattvadeva. When they are talking about Bhuma all along, all of a sudden, how does meditation come in? The upasana is not the matter of discussion at all. It is unfolding the nature of Bhuma, that is the subject matter here. And all of a sudden you say that, now this is a sentence that instructs about meditation of Bhuma. Is aprastutam. Is not under discussion. Also, anya rajanaste kshayalokaha bhavandeti ninda virodhat. The next passage in fact condemns or criticizes that if you look upon Bhuma as separate from you, so those who know different from this, so therefore it is said, athaye anyatha atah viduhu. We are saying that Bhuma alone is you, but those who know it or think different from this, meaning Bhuma is separate from me, te anya rajanah te bhavanti. They become Sanya Raja, Deva Raja different from them, meaning that they are ruled by somebody, by Ishvara. Kshaya lokaha bhavanti. They attain the lokas all right, but what kind of loka? Maybe some Brahma loka, which is Kshaya loka, which is perishable. Only thing imperishable is Brahman. So when I am Brahman in a primary sense, imperishable. But then I am in a given world. So whatever that world is, however exalted that world is always going to be perishable. Abrahma bhuvanan lokaha punaravartina Arjuna. So all the worlds, including Brahma Loka, are all punaravartina. They are all subject to rotation, meaning they are all perishable. So therefore, this Upanishad itself criticizes the vision of duality. The vision of duality between the self and Bhuma is condemned. Why is it condemned? To instruct that you should not accept the duality, you must only strive for knowledge of non-duality. So, anyarayanaste shayalokaha bhavanditi ninda virodhat. If you interpret this passage as instructing separatedness between Bhuma and Aham, then that separatedness or duality is criticized in the next passage. So then your interpretation will invite that criticism. Then upasanayam anyarayatvasya avasyam bhavat. Upasanayam, in meditation or worship, the worshipper is different from the one who is worshipped. So you worship Bhuma, you meditate upon Bhuma, that idea of the separatedness of the one who meditates and what is meditated upon. One who worships and what is worshipped. So Jiva is the worshipper, Bhuma is worshipped. Jiva is the meditator, Bhuma is meditated upon. So therefore that duality will never go. So Ramana says, Bheda bhavanat somityasu bheda bhavana bhavanimata. So rather than meditating upon Ishvara as separate from you, Soham, I am Ishvara. That meditation alone will lead ultimately to the knowledge of non-duality. And therefore, so upasanayam anyarayatvasya avasyam bhava. In upasana, even when there is realization of Bhuman, suppose there is realization of Narayana or Vishnu, then also it would be separate. There will separation will remain. But that's how I always looked upon him. That's how I worshipped him. That's how I meditated upon it. So in the end also, when there is realization, when Lord Vishnu appears before me, then also that separatedness will never go. And therefore I will always be controlled by Vishnu, meaning he becomes my Raja, I become the Praja. So idea is that the Ishvara and Ishyatavya, the Niyanta and Niyamya, the ruler and the ruled, that relationship will never go. So I always remain ruled. That means I always remain dependent. That means there is always a samsara. So upasanayam anyarajatvasya avasyam bhavat. Because what I am meditating upon, worshipping is anya. That anya and that separatedness will never go. Then says, nacha athato ahankaradeshayati atha shabdat arthantar pratitihi atha esha jyoti ityadavivaiti vachyam. See that? Athato ahankaradeshayeva. Atha thereafter, atha therefore, ahankaradesha. So the atha there, which shows a separate topic. Thereafter, having instructed about Bhuma, thereafter, now we are instructed about Aham, which is a separate entity, Atha. That's how the interpretation is. Athato ahankaradesheti atha shabdat arthantara pratitihi. Why should Upanishad say Atha? Atha is thereafter. So what follows is different from what preceded. Thereafter we did this, or thereafter we will talk about this. So when you use the word thereafter, it implies that what follows is different from what preceded. Otherwise, why should we say thereafter? So then Atha is what Upanishad says in the first line, Saivedam Saramidi Athato Ahankaradeshayeva. That Atha. So Athato Ahankaradeshayati Atha Shabdat Arthantar Pratitihi. That Atha seems to imply that what follows is something different from what preceded. Atha Esha Jyoti Ityadau Iva iti Vachyam. So this comes somewhere from the Shruti, Atha Esha Jyoti. So this is Jyoti Ityadau. So how that Jyoti is then, topic changes there from with the intervention of word Atha. Here also Atha means a change of topic or change of entity. Why not? Because Atha is used that way also somewhere. It says Atha, so Atha Esha Jyotihi iti. How Esha Jyoti means this one is Jyoti, I guess, because Esha is pulling and Jyoti is Napunsakaling, but anyway, Atha Esha Jyotihi ityadav iva. So how that Atha is, it changes the topic. Here also, Atha also, because you have to show a precedence. Somewhere the word Atha is used for Anantaryam, to show a different topic. So why not Atha here also is to show a different topic. Why not? Itina vachyam ahankarupena adeshasya bhumurupe adeshat arthantaratvat atha shabdopattehe. Yes, something follows. Something different follows. See this, understand this, the argument. Earlier the instruction is about Bhuma. Then Atha, then instruction about Aham. So if Atha thereafter means now change of topic, then one interpretation is that Atha is different from Bhuma. Because Atha means a separate. But says first is the instruction about Bhuma. Thereafter the instruction about Aham. So then Adesha is different. First is Adesha or instruction about Bhuma, and now follows another instruction what? Instruction about Aham. So therefore change is not in Bhuma and Aham, change only is in Adesha. So Ahankarupena Adeshasya Bhumurupa Adeshat Arthantaratvat Atha Shabda Upattehe. Aham is not different from Bhuma. The aham adesha is different from bhuma adesha. So adesha changes, therefore instruction changes. Entity does not change, instruction changes, therefore the atha is there. Ateva ahankaradesha eva iti evakaro is atha ahankaradesha eva vedana evakara there. Iti evakaropi adashabda asashabdokta अर्थांतरत्व आदेशस्य एव इत्याह एवकार goes with आदेशः एव. So that evakara adesha means what? The adesha is separate. So atha shabdoktarthantaratvam adeshasya. Atha does talk about arthantaratvam, does talk about something separate. What is that something? The evakara goes with adesha, therefore separatedness in adesha. Meaning adesha that follows is different from adesha that preceded. Now what follows is adesha about ahankara. Earlier was adesha about bhuma. Adeshas are different, not that aham is different from bhuma. So adesha eva arthantaram nato aham shabdartha iti. Arthantaram is separate. Topic is there, but what? Adesha is instruction. For instruction of bhuma, instruction about aham. Not bhuma and aham are different. Anyatha evakarasya prayojanantara adarsanat. Otherwise that ahankara adesha eva. The eva would not serve any purpose. If the atha it meant different entities, then that evakara would not serve the purpose. Vayarthamevasya. Yadva or yadeva sakshad aparokshad yatraiva prakrut akarshanartha evakara. Going to Chāndogyopaniṣad. Yadeva sakshad aparokshad brahma. So yad eva, then also evakara is there. So idatra yadva yadeva sakshad aparokshad idyatraiva prakruta akarshanartha evakara. Yadeva, what was indeed sakshat aparokshad, that alone. So then sometimes evakara is for referring to what is discussed earlier. Prakruta means what? What is under discussion? Akarshana means referring to that. So ahankara desha eva, evakara refers to what was discussed earlier, meaning what? Bhuma. Prakutasya bhumna eva ahankarena adesha dato arthantarasya iti. That bhuman which is under discussion, that alone is being instructed, ahankara, and that there is no intention to introduce any new entity. Aham artha aveda pratipadanantu prakruta bhuma lakshane apekshidamidi. Aham artha aveda pratipadanam. That aham and bhuma are one, so that pratipadanam, to expound that, prakruta bhuma lakshane apekshidam. Because lakshana of bhuma, which is a discussion, and lakshana of aham are one, therefore it just makes the first thing that strikes is that it shows the oneness between bhuma and aham. Tat abhidhanameva nyayamiti bhavaha, and therefore that alone, that now we are instructing bhuma as aham, that alone is quite nyayam, or in keeping with reason. The footnote in that, below that also, yattu aham arthasya bhumakya brahma bhinnatvena pratyaksha asiddhatvat tad upadesha brahma abhedartha bhavatu iti. Aham arthasya, now what happens is, see, interpretation here is that with bhuma there is mukhya samadhikaranya with atma, with ahankara is bada samadhikaranya. So that is what is being said here. Yat ahamartasya bhumakya brahma bhindatvena pratyaksha siddhatvat tad upadesha brahma abhedartha bhavatu iti. So somebody says that this one is showing absolute identity between bhuma and ahankara. Because bhumakya brahma bhindatvena pratyaksha brahman. So pratyaksha asiddhatva tad upadesha brahma abhedartha bhavatu iti. So bhumakya brahma bhindatvena. So bhuma is aham is taken as different from bhuma. So pratyaksha siddhatva, there is no direct experience of oneness, therefore this is brahma abhedartha bhavatu. Tanna evam ched vayam puchyamah sa vadastadete jivad bhedena brahma upasana kartavyata paramastu. In that case, it can be upasana of jiva, of Brahman. Aham vaityayadu paramat aikya paramastu. So one is upasana, one is aikyam. Abhi aham arthasya ahankarasya aham kartavyam cha mahabhutani. So in all these, ahankara is shown as nothing but jadam or mithya. So bhuman, which is paramaric satyam, cannot be equal to ahankara, which is in fact mithya. Therefore, tadukti bhedartha. So there is no intention of communicating absolute identity of bhuma and aham, that bhuma is aham by bhada samadhikaranyam and bhuma is atma by mukhya samadhikaranyam. So that is what is intended here. So therefore, because all this discussed abheda between bhuma and aham, so somebody may think that there is an absolute identity. Says no, by bhada samadhikaranyam they are one. Okay, so that's enough for this morning discussion. We will continue tomorrow. Next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnamada Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.